My friends? We are back again. Welcome aboard. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I know this is a last minute notice. I wasn't going to go live, but you're truly rocking Dave the Real Deal. Norfolk Myers, Southwest Florida. And I wanted to bring this out back again. My old Yamaha NTX 700. I might have something going on with the preamp here. It is still a great guitar. It's more of a fusion nylon string guitar with I believe 21 frets. Here, I can find out because that's A, B, C, 22 frets. Ha! And this was the guitar we'd use at the Bristol Renaissance Fair up in Wisconsin where I was doing. Deb and I were doing those gigs. We were there, what, I think it was 4 consecutive years. And, yeah, it's a great guitar. The action feels great on it. I just think maybe I need to get this looked at. Because my new Cordoba, I mean, it's a nice guitar, but it's nothing like my original Cordoba, which I gotta get that fixed. Because my original Cordoba had that for like 23 years now. 22, 23 years. And that was my main flamenco acoustic guitar. That guitar's been everywhere. Europe, Canada, Mexico, I mean everywhere it's been with, a great guitar. And this was a great secondary guitar, but then the preamp was going bad on it. Now it could have been because of me doing the tapping on the body, but I don't think so. Maybe it just needs to be looked at. Because we've had this guitar since 2010, I want to say. Or maybe 2011, something around that time frame. Great guitar, though. Great guitar. So, as the title implies, take charge of your music. I'm doing this because I saw a video. One of our YouTube friends up there, well, actually, he's down here now. Michael Lipinski, what's happening, brother? Thank you so kindly. Thank you so kindly for you purchasing my music, everything. I mean, I really appreciate that. We have not forgotten about you, brother. We are going to get now. Deb and I, our schedules are together because now we're working together with our driving gig and with the music. So, I mean, we can't do it this summer, but next summer, or when we get probably next summer, we'll have some more of the free time to really come up there. We got to take care of some business up in Illinois, Chicagoland area during Thanksgiving break, during Christmas break. It's our 25th wedding anniversary, May 1st, and we still have yet to properly celebrate it. So we're going to be doing something together. We need to. And or maybe, when we get the time, we'll keep you informed, man. Go out for a lunch or something, maybe have a jam session. It would be great. I appreciate all the people that subscribe my channel and watch. I really do. And, well, I want to talk real briefly what I saw this guy, Bad Brad. He was more of a session player, but he played with a couple of people. He did a pretty big tour with, I can't remember maybe his last name, Colt. I really don't follow the country world, so, I apologize. But he used to live in L.A. He was involved in part of that scene. And I'm glad that now he's down here. He posts up these videos, what it was like doing mostly the session work and the gigging in Nashville, Tennessee, and all that. And, kudos to him, and kudos to another guy that's up in Canada, a drummer named Tim Conley Drums. They give out a lot of information that, well, it's so spot on. And the reason why I can relate to it is because, we're part of that era, and we've gone through the same, very similar things. Very, very similar things. The title of this video is, and it just kind of in response to what Brad was saying about, I guess he was talking about the dark side of Nashville, and it's really the dark side of the music as well. Now, there's a lot of good in it, too. So, and like he would say, and same with Tim Conley, there's a lot of good in it. But the reason why, these two guys and other people and myself will say the things we say, it's not to discourage people from trying anything with music, to go full-time with your music or give it a shot. It's a great experience, and there is good people out there. There's really good people out there. but you really got to be careful of the sneaky people. And it was real interesting what Bad Brad was talking about with doing some of the session work, and how some of these people would come out of woodwork, and say, geez, this person's really not that good of a singer, or not that good of a player, but we'll give him a shot, and he was basically spot on. Now I've never done. We've spent the night in Nashville, Tennessee, in between our gigs. Never did any playing there or anything like that. However, there's similarities from the experiences we had down in Texas, and a situation that a friend of ours went through, where you get these people that come out of the woodwork. They're going to make all these promises, and they may even front up some money to make everything appear legit. Now, again, the legit people, how you can tell when someone's legitimate is when they're going to help you out with your music, and when they need to have a fee for their services, that's to be expected. Anyone's services, anyone's time is worth something. It really is. And legitimate people will not cringe or be taken back by your questions when you ask, hey, I already gave a fee of, let's say, $1,000, and they turn around and you see they're really trying to do something for you. And then they have to say, okay, but to take it further, I need an extra $350, and here's the reason why, and, I understand. See, the legit people are going to say, most likely to say, understand that I do also have to make money. I know the music industry has been getting such a bad rap, especially now because, everyone is older. They don't need to rely on it anymore. So now all the truth comes out of what really was going on. And I'm glad that people are doing that, because when I was younger and back in the 80s, like a lot of us, we were buying into whatever was being pitched to us. And I'll tell you what, I am so blessed and fortunate and thankful that when I met my wife, and she made a comment that I'll never forget, that she said, music business is really like any other business, it's just a little different. And when she was telling me this, I remember hearing what my grandfather used to tell me. My grandfather, really was not all, yeah, Dave, rock and roll. He wasn't like that. He was very, very strong conservative. He was in World War II. He didn't like the hippie generation. He hated all that. But he loved us. He loved me and my sister. And when he thought I was going to join the Army after, graduating high school, he was all proud. And then when I let my friends talk me out of it, maybe it would have been a good experience, maybe not. But the point is that it was kind of a letdown. And then when I was going more and more and more into the music, it was even a more letdown. And I'll never forget when I was going to go to GIT. I was going to leave Chicago, right, Cook County, right down the street from Wrigley Field, and go out to, first I was going to check out Berklee College of Music, and then I got the wind of GIT, through the Guitar Player magazines. And I'm like, ooh, this looks cool, man. I'm going to be a guitarist, and, maybe something would have happened out of it. Maybe I could have been the guitarist and, who knows, Motley Crue, whatever, or any other bands out there at that time, because I had definitely had the drive, and still have it, and I put my time into practicing. So of course, I would have put the time into it if I were going out there. Of course, I would have been very proactive. But that still doesn't mean anything would have happened to it, because you get these people that if they don't like you, you're out, man. That's the way it is. And when people say, no, come on, Dave, it's the talent. It's not just the talent. Your personalities. And you don't even have to do anything to rub anybody the wrong way intentionally. They could just look at you and say, I don't like the guy's personality. I don't want to deal with him. It's no different than any other job. No different. So the thing is, my grandfather said it best when he said, you go into these schools, and let's say you don't get a grant, or you don't get, this, that, and you got to take a loan out. You're going to have to pay that loan back. Look at the job placement program that they have. And yeah, maybe they'll put you in as teacher yet. But maybe you're going to be in a fishbowl of thousands. You got let's say you got 2,000 people fighting for the same job, and the only job offering openings, maybe you're looking for 3 teachers. Let's say if that's where you go. Okay, I'm not discouraging people from trying it, but understand what your odds are. It's already stacked against you. So do not be disappointed. You know, you have to find ways to take charge of your life and not rely on people stringing you out. And another thing my grandfather said was, look at the job, look at the Sunday paper. You would get the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Tribune. And I used to look through the want ads. It's, you know, just out of curiosity. I never saw guitar players in there wanted. Only in the Illinois Entertainer. And trust me, we've been in a lot of bands, and we've done a lot of that stuff. It was great, great experience. But then there was a lot of times nothing happened. And you guys out there who was doing this in the 80s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So when I met my wife, and when she would tell me these things, it would remind me of what my grandfather was telling me. And it wasn't because he was trying to rain on my parade. It's because he really cared. He did not want to see me be another statistic out there, Skid Row. Yeah, but you're a great guitar player. Yeah, but I can't get work. Oh, and I got a loan to pay back. See? No guarantees. No guarantees. And this is where these people come out of the woodwork. I'll give you an example with my friend, and then I'll talk about what happened to us down in Texas. So a friend of mine, I'm not going to mention his name, great guy, great guitar player. He got involved back up in the Chicagoland area when we were still living up there. He got involved in one of these talent showcases. Excuse me, I'm going to grab some water here. He got involved in a talent showcase. And, you know what, let me do this. And he met a lady that was telling him that she's an agent and she is seeking out new talent, and she liked what he did. Now, I can't remember if it was a talent showcase contest, whether my friend came in number one, I don't know, but she liked it, okay, and gave him his credentials, gave him her credentials and all of that, and it sounded legitimate. It always sounds legitimate. With enough persuasion, she was able to convince him to come up with $3,000. I think it was $3,000 the first time. And she really gave the impression that she was really doing something for him. And to continue to get it going, this phase of it happened at the same time of this statement. She wanted him to put a band together because she thinks it would be more marketable. Okay. And if I remember correctly, he was getting together with these people, and I think she was trying to hook him up with some of these people, and they were a lot younger than him, and you know, he started getting these really weird vibes, like this really isn't working out, and I think it was more that they want to tell him what to do than, you know, listen to his ideas. Now, when people are flipping the bill, you're going to get this because it's their money. So just be aware of that. That's why I said, take charge of music and take a charge. Basically, you want to make it in music, you fund it yourself. It's your money. It'll be your show, your way, because it's your money. And if it flops, then it's on you. If it's a success, it's still on you. You know what I mean? It's a great thing. But at least you will not be taken for a ride. So he is getting discouraged, and then he made the comment to her around the same time that she asked for an additional $1,500 to continue to move things forward. He made the comment, well, Mom, why don't I just do it as a soloist? You know, I could do it with with my looping pedal and with maybe some tracks. Right away, she shut it down. Right away. Oh, no, you can't do that. No one's going to accept it, basically. No, you can't do that. He said to her, well, my friend Dave Byron, he's doing that, and he's out there playing, so why can't I? I don't know what her response was, and I'm not gonna put the words in her mouth, you know what I mean? But my guess would be like she shot him down. Well, he's doing it the wrong way, you know. No one's gonna you're never gonna make it. Blah blah blah. You know, it's always a negative. so that she could continue with the control of stringing them out. And when she asked for that additional $1,500, I think it set up some red flags. In combination, here's the money, and here's a statement that you cannot do anything solo. You have to do it this way. You got to do it the right way. It's this way. Let me tell you something. Music, just like art, is an opinion. Okay, let me use this as an example. This is a nylon string guitar. Well, that would never be a classical. I could play classical. I just played some classical oriented pieces on it. Landa, Astorius Landa. It's not a traditional. I have in my storage area right here. I got a traditional classical guitar, and I know this is not a traditional classical guitar, and maybe I would be shunted out, but it doesn't mean I still can't go out. I have done gigs with this. I've done gigs with the Cordoba, with the cutaway and the plug-in electronics. So you see, when people tell you can't, that's when you say, you know what, I'm gonna. Because they're gonna try to, stop you from succeeding. Because when they start to realize that the light bulb goes on in your head and you can do this even without them, then here comes the even more depressing negative statements and the discouragement that you're doing it the wrong way, and I'm sorry, I'm out, and you know what, we'll never help you. And then it becomes, instead of me, will. Like there's a big production company behind these people. Maybe there is, okay? Maybe there is. But it's usually a statement like, we'll never deal with you again. Meanwhile, when they were dealing with you, it's funny how they want you to come up with money. If they're supposed to be the producer, this, that, and the other, they want you to come up with the money all the time. Now, again, there are times when it's legitimately, when you are paying for a service. That is to be expected. We all know this. And again, to verify their legitimacy, they would not have any problems with you asking, gee, you know what, could you break all this expense down? And my wife does this. We break all the expense down. Where's the money going so we could track everything? A legitimate person would not have a problem, with you asking that, so that, you're just being responsible with your money. And actually, a legitimate person would see that and say, geez, you know what, this person's responsible. If they're responsible with their money and they're willing to do this and they already got the talent, they're going to be responsible when I flip the bill for the gigs for him or her. And they're going to understand that I need to make my money back, and you also need to make money. But I could count on this person because they're giving me the impression that they're responsible to get a good performance done. You can never control your crowd size, no matter what people say. They're either come out and you could try. Yes, you can, but you're not going to 100% control them because things happen in life. I bought the ticket and I couldn't make the show because my daughter got sick. My son got sick. Someone passed away in the family. I got diarrhea or something, I'm not trying to be disgusting here, but there's realities. Things happen. But your performance, the best that you can always control that. So the good people are going to see that, and there are not going to be any problems with you asking questions. When you start asking questions, and they're like, "Oh, well, see, it's a little bit confusing, and but just trust me, I'll handle it. Don't worry." That's when the red flags go on, because it's like, hey, that's my money. Those people would not be in business unless people like you and me did not help put them in business. That's the reality. And we could put them out of business too by not spending our money on them. And I think what happened, my friend hired an attorney, and then all of a sudden this lady disappeared. Of course, you hear the word attorney, and especially if he actually hires an attorney and the attorney does the phone calls and the lady answers, oh, this is Morgan and Morgan. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I've got a client here that's, we got a little bit of an issue, whatever they say over the phone. As soon as there's legitimacy that there's an attorney, Okay, I'll check the records. Can I call you back? And they're gone, man. If they're a scam and a con, they're gone. They're gone. And when I heard what Brad was saying about, I don't know if I think it's up there. You guys check it out. And some to the fact that this person really can't sing, but we got the studio in Nashville, and it's a great honor. We spend all this money. As soon as you hear words that, yeah, but it's only, it's gonna, it's only gonna take about 10 grand. I think that was one of the figures he dropped. That means 10 grand out of your pocket, not theirs. That's what that means. And if you got the money, and if you want to give it a shot, and you say, yeah, let me go ahead and give it a shot, that's great. It's your money. You do what you want with it. But when 10,000 turns into, well, we need an additional 10,000, and you start hearing words that something's not right, and then worse, you start seeing everything's being dragged. Well, to put you in Studio A with these A-list session players, we need an additional 10 grand, and we need to reschedule, or something to that effect. But meanwhile, you front the money, and then we'll tell you what time. Don't call us, we'll call you. That's a bad right there. Bad move right there. That's a sign right there that this is not legit. And these people were, from what Brad was saying, they had this thing going. And people were paying for it, and people wanted to get the experience of, recording in a upscale, well-known recording studio that would pump out, especially if you're in the country music. Because Nashville, it will always be known for country. It'll have its rock and roll section, it has its blues sections, but its main heart, because the Grand Ole Opry and all that, and it should, rightfully so, because that's what it's known for. It has its history. So if you're into that, or even like Southern rock or anything that leans to that, and it doesn't mean those musicians only play that. Those session players are very well versed, and they're the best of the best. A lot of them are the best of the best. But putting that aside, when you start realizing that, geez, now I'm at the point where I'm taking a second mortgage out of my house, and I'm seeing more money fly out the door than I'm seeing results. And I'm hearing all these promises, and I'm meeting all these people, but, after let's say a week of doing this and meetings and, rescheduling and a co-producer and rewriting and all this and that, it's my money. Even if you are not a schooled musician with as many years of experience as these people, but it's still your money, and you know what you want. And maybe you're not as talented as some of these people, but you got some talent, and it's your money. I'm not saying don't take advice from professionals, but see, here's what when I heard this, and I was listening pretty carefully what he was saying, what Brad was talking about, and I started hearing about, well, see, you need to do this and you need to do that. This is what I heard all my life. You need to do this. You need to do that. All those people that told me that got me nowhere. You know what got me somewhere? My wife. But that's nice. You let your first of all, half these people say, "Oh, that's nice." You let your girlfriend to the gigs, and oh, that's nice. She carries your guitar for you. And that. No, she's my wife. She books some of these gigs. She knows how. She knows more how to do that than I do. So I trust her. Oh, ooh, some of these people. Oh, okay, like that. And just because we don't have a big name doesn't mean that we don't have a business. You see? But let them think what they want. How we were able to avoid all that BS is once, again, with Deb's help and my suspicions of seeing all this, because I'm going to get into the Texas deal that happened. And I'm not going to name names in just a moment. But when I saw that, I was like, you know what? These people are liars, man. They're liars. That's still our money. We worked hard for that. That's nice. You keep your CDL license and you're nice. They want to down talk to you all. Not all of them, but the ones who do. Watch those people, because you see, They will start by, and this happened when in a Texas gig. This one lady came up to us. It was toward the end of this festival, and we were at this place called Riley's. I got the T-shirt, got both the T-shirts. Riley's in Huntley, Texas. It was the first place that got their liquor license after probation or proba, whatever. I don't know certain terminologies, but the point is when they outlawed liquor and when they brought liquor back in as it's legal, okay, that was in Texas one of the first places that opened up shop and said everyone drink up, right? This lady comes up to us, and she's coming up to everybody she sees who's got a guitar in her hand. She's a publicist, she's this, she's that. I'm listening to this lady talk, and she's talking a smooth talk, but she made one big mistake, and I'm watching this girl. First of all, I'm watching how she's conducting herself. I've noticed her smoozing up to everybody. If you are legit, you don't have to smooth up to anybody. And she had a business card. You could get a business card. Anyone can get a business card. FortinPrint.com, right? Or the other ones that's out there. Or print up yourself on your laptop. Anyways, I'm noticing this, and I'm like, there's something not right here. First of all, this is a small place. And the first thing that I sensed was this is an opportunist. And there's nothing wrong with somebody getting started, or even if they are like in the midsection of, they're climbing that ladder, you are not going to conduct yourself like floozy, because that's a red flag right there. Why do you like me? You don't even know me. I'm married. See the ring on my finger? She gives me this pitch that she could do this, that, and the other, and we tell her what we do at the time. We were doing our regular gigs, and we were doing the corporate gigs. As soon as she heard corporate gigs, I can't do anything. She wanted $500 too, by the way. I can't do anything with you. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then she's hanging out because we're all hanging out together, doing this jam session at this place, and talking, drinking, talking. The more they drink, the more they talk. And then she starts saying, "Yeah, where are you from?" Oh, one person's from Maryland, another person's from Arkansas, and you got some people, from Canada, some people from Europe. Where are you from? I'm Chicago, Chicagoland area. We drove down here. Ah, you drove down here. Oh, wow. Well, I drove, and this is what she's saying. I think she drove from Missouri. Yeah, I still owe on these tickets, and I got most of my license revoked, and I got this, and she's talking. I'm thinking to myself, and you want $500 out of me? What are you gonna do with that $500? You haven't been taking care of you're not responsible to take care of your situation. How are you gonna take care of me? You see? But those people are easy to spot, because sooner or later they're gonna reveal themselves. Now, the big thing that happened in Texas, it was called the World United Music Fest. 2008 it was. We the year before that, we did the NATO. I call it the NATO gig, because it was on the NATO property, and we ate in their cafeteria. What an experience that was. Great. And from there, that following year, we were going to go over to Romania, because the people that was coordinating that, they had a place in Romania where they were from. And they were like, man, I'm gonna tell you something with the Europeans, man. You play flamenco guitar, or classical guitar, or jazz, or anything that's virtuoso, and I'm gonna tell you right now, man, they're gonna respect you. They're gonna respect you big time. And I was just so honored. I just like, wow, this is great. But what happened was, that's when the economy was hitting worldwide, and it was tanking. people invested in real estate and they were losing their ass left and right. And that's when everyone had hit the brakes. We were also offered at a gig that we did. It's up on my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, Dave Byron. It was called Writing for a Cure. It was 100, maybe it was 150 people on horseback. I mean, it was a lot of people, a lot. Maybe it was not that much, but it was a lot. And Deb was talking with the lady that was running the whole thing, and they went off to a distance, and they were talking, probably how the schedule was going to go on the event. And I'm over there by our stage area, and I'm warming up and playing, and making sure everything, the sound is good. And one of the ladies, she's listening to me warm up, and she heard me doing a lot of the flamenco stuff and that. And she comes up to me. I'll never forget this. And she says, "You know what? I think we could try to do something next year." And man, that sounds beautiful. What would you charge? $3,000, $3,500? I tried to not to respond like, ooh, I maintain my composure, because the first thing I thought, I cannot give out any numbers, because my wife is talking with the lady that's coordinated, and this lady's going to talk with her as well. They know each other, so I'm not going to BS people. Of course not. I can't do that. But the fact of the matter, that offer was there, and then again, it would have been 2008, and then everything kind of come crashing, and everyone was pulling back. But it was October. I'm pretty sure this fest was October. And Deb and I drove down from Aurora, Illinois, all the way down to San Marcos, Texas. And I forget how Deb found out about this event. Anyways, a 3-day event, 8 stages planted around, and we were scheduled to play around the 2 o'clock, I think it was on 1 or 2 o'clock time frame on a Sunday afternoon with, of course, other people. And we get there on a Friday, and we stayed at the Howard Johnson, the Hojo, $150 for 3 nights with a continental breakfast. Nice and clean place, real nice. Only 5 miles down from the event. So the next day we go to the event because they had a panelist from the radio industry, I think, and the different record labels, if I'm not mistaken, people in the industry, and they were giving us, a lecture, how to get somewhere in the music. And we were in a big conference room. And there was a lot of us. I couldn't remember how many people were in there, And I'll never forget the statement of this one lady. She seemed like she was the leader of all of this. Or she had some clout for the radio station and clout with some of the record labels and that. And she said, "We accept all music except classical music." Okay, that's fine. But she said all music. Deb and I were sitting next to each other, and I happened to notice, now this is 2008, so I was, 44? I was born in 63, so my math's not that good, sorry. Yeah, 44 because I was born, anyways, doesn't matter. I'm in my 40s, some people in their 50s, and there was one young girl there that she definitely was. She stood out because she was like the youngest one in the crowd, and she was like maybe in her early to mid 20s. Her thing is, and we all had our CDs, and we're pitching our CDs and that. And her thing was, she was into more of the hip hop / some of the rap, but more of the hip hop. Okay, now from a investor's standpoint, and only from a money standpoint, that music was, and it still is popular. Okay, I mean, let's be real about it. So if I'm on the stage, and I'm one of the coordinator, I'm one of the people running this thing, and I'm looking for a new talent, and I just made the statement, we take all styles of music except classical. We don't put people to sleep. all styles of music. I think the hip hop rap is going to be in there somewhere, but it's Texas. But still, you made that comment, and you got us in there, and you're pitching all this that you got to do this, that, and the other. And boy, there's a lot of requirements that they were pitching to us. And she raised her hand because she asks people what you do. And she just happened to raise her hand. And yeah, what do you got at the question? Yeah, I'm into hip hop and rap. I got a CD right here and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't do that. She shot this girl down. Two things this girl's got going for her. From a business point of view, she's young and she's playing a style of music that is kind of hot. You know, it's kind of getting up there on the charts, man. If I want to make some money, you know, I don't think I'm going to invest in a horse and buggy when the car has been around for a while. Unless I'm looking for a niche, you know, horse and buggy, take people around, you know, something exclusive, something different. That's different. So she gets shot down, and I saw the expression on this girl's face. You know, she was like, man. Sits back in her chair. As this lady's on the panel's talking, she tells another guy that's sitting over there. Now this guy, I thought he spent $15,000, between $10,000 and $15,000 for this CD, and he had like 15 songs, and he was gonna get ready to go in the studio, but I thought he made the comment that he would have to mortgage out his house again or something to that effect, but he brings this up to this lady, and more of what he was doing was more of a roots rock and roll, bluesy, country type. Older gentleman than myself. And so the lady's listening to him, and her advice is, well, write 10 to 15 more songs, and yeah, you might have to come up with, and it's expensive, you might have to come up with maybe another 10 G's and that to go back in the studio. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, this guy's losing his teeth, man. He can't afford to do that, and he can't afford maybe to mortgage out his house again. Maybe he did it first, I don't know. Then the same lady makes this comment about, listen, I'm going to tell everybody right now, your CD is a representation of you. It's a presentation. And you want to make your artwork cover, as professional as possible. Now, granted, maybe she's got something there if you want to get in with the big leagues. Okay. I understand that. Okay. Because they want to weed the people who get out, who's serious. Yeah, but you see, this is where it's tough, because just because your CD does not look professional doesn't mean it isn't. Because people are on a limited budget. And I think that's what this lady didn't get. So she makes this comment, and she says, whatever you do, don't have a family member or a friend take the photo of you or of the, let's say if it's a landscape photo, don't let them do that. You need to spend no less than $5,000 on a professional photographer. Well, first of all, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to get a little bit pissed off, because this is starting to sound like a bunch of BS to me. And I remember I telling this to Deb, like, I'm still getting pissed off, man. I'm saying, you know what I mean? This sounds like a con job, man. I'm going to raise my hand. And Deb says, no, don't say anything. I'm glad she stopped me, because I'll tell you what was said when Deb went to talk to one of the panelists. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how the hell do you know that that guy isn't a professional photographer? Just because he doesn't look like it doesn't mean he isn't. Or his family member, maybe his daughter. Maybe his daughter has got some photos in one of the leading publications. How do you know this? And the funny thing is, when you go, and since we were at the Embassy Suites Hotel, we're in their banquet hall, and then here comes the wait staff, you know, more water and that. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I bet you the wait staff here, they're making money. They grow up if they're young and they're into the hip hop music. Hey, you got a hip hop? How much you want for your CD? $10? There it is right there. $10. You just made $10. I got a whole staff of friends. You want to sell your CDs? Come on, we can go right now. You got a whole box of your CDs. Let's go. They probably say, don't listen to these people. They're stringing you out, sucking money out of you, feeding you empty promises. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but you would get these people that come out with these statements, and they have no idea who you are, what your background is. You know what's too bad that girl didn't. Now I'm looking back at it. Too bad that girl. CDs for sale. Like you go to the ball game, hot dogs and peanuts. And CDs for sale. And then, oh yeah, how much? Okay, yeah. When they played in their portable CD player, people had that back then. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Or, yeah, I like that, man. That's dope, right? That's what they say in hip hop world. I don't know. Point is, they like it. You're not going to please everybody, but it's too bad she didn't do that in front of those people, so those people that's giving her bad advice, they could see her making a buck right then and there. You're for profit, right? You're an investor. And what I mean by investor, you're trying to get us in to pitch a business thing going on, because that's what it is. Oh, it's music. No, I know it's music. It's a different type of a commodity, but it is still something. It's still business. It's still you spend money and I got something out of it. Period. Like my friend that got hosed by the lady that took $3,000 from him. Oh, you cannot do solo. Oh, he's doing that. Your friend's doing it wrong. I'll get you somewhere. I'll hook you up with some teenagers that just they could sight read and everything, but they don't know your music. Here's the thing: when you're fresh out of school and you know things in and out, that's great. But if you got no experience out there, you need to get that experience. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line, man. Now you got both going on at the same time. Now you can establish yourself. Anyone knows that. But for whatever reason, only in music, they want to take you as a sucker and give you the spiel, and it's always something that is going to make you feel like especially when you got the stars in your eyes. And it's leading you on. It's like, oh man, this could be my big break. And then you find out the big break is always costing you money. This reminds me of a story. Our good friend Joe Wentz Project. Check out his YouTube channel. Great guy. He had mentioned about the service called Taxi, and I remember Taxi. I remember seeing it in the not just in the guitar magazines, but way back when I get the recording magazine. There was a magazine called Recording, and there was a magazine called Musician, and they would run their ads in there, and there's a picture of the old yellow taxi cab. And what their service was, you send them some music. Back then it was cassette tapes, and then later on CDs. And then what they'll do is they will pitch it for you to all of these independent and some major labels if they can. Somewhere, if I still have it, I have a magazine. It's actually a catalog. It could have been from the Recording magazine, and it could have been their year-end atlas, a musician's atlas. And it had listed, throughout the United States, all the places that wanted to place their ad in, places to play at, in all of the states of the U.S., and radio stations who wanted to play, record labels, agents, publishers. It had a whole list, their phone numbers, and I think their email address, because this was, in the early 2000s, and things was just starting to, with the social media was not around yet. So that's what Taxi was. And Joe said, you know what? They're still doing the same thing. And I think him and his friend, he had a duo, and they came up with either $100 each or $100. They wanted to pitch their song, and then he said, yeah, of course nothing came of it, And he said, this is if I could find, maybe in my next lives, if I remember, what the exact video he had, what the title is. I'll mention it so you can check out exactly what he said. But one of the things that he said was, so he was at the place where they would have like a spotlight showcase, and he noticed, man, the PA system that they're using is like kind of rinky dink. The guy's he's dressed up, he's got the fake, I mean, whether it's fake jewelry or not, fake jewelry, nice watch, and the ladies walking around, maybe with a clipboard, if that's what he said, looking the part to reel you in. And then next, okay, you do a couple songs, next, and then of course you're waiting. You paid $100, to do that. Part of it, they're renting a room. Maybe I'm gonna do a guess because this is what usually happens, at least at the embassy suite where we were at. They rent that conference room out. And it costs them X amount of dollars. Okay, so they have to charge because they're renting a room and and for their time. I don't have a problem with that because I understand. We would do the same thing, but we're not going to string people out. That's the difference. If you're going to rent the room out, just try to be honest. And maybe that's not what would work for them. But what really doesn't work is the lying. Because once you get wind of that, man, you will never trust these people ever again, man. Never. Never trust them ever again. So that happened with Joe, and when he mentioned about Taxi, that's another good example of how these people come out of the woodwork. Now things are different now, because now everyone's getting what. If you were a bad actor back then and you're taking advantage of people, now you're getting it now because now no one's buying CDs, no one's buying music anymore. So how could you con somebody when there's no sales going on? See? Yesterday when I was talking about technology, Catch-22, well, even though it kind of went bad for everybody, here's the good part of it. It weed out a lot of the scammers because those scammers were sniffing around because money, there was an opportunity. And again, when we were younger, man, we bought into all these lies. And again, there was some good people trying to make a buck and trying to make an honest buck. But boy, you got a lot of bad actors through there, man. A lot of bad people. Taking advantage of us, leading us on. That's why some of us have a little bit of bitterness from that. Now, I take responsibility of our own stupidity, okay? But at the same time, we honestly did not understand. We did not have access to information like we do now. We just didn't have it. And that's why they were able to get away with it. So, getting back to Bad Brad's video that he had yesterday, what I saw yesterday. Come up, with $10,000 or another $20,000, it turns into $30,000. We're gonna do this, that for you, and all this and that. And we'll get this person coming in the session, and that person. Brad was saying he's there. He's listening to all this, and he's like, he gave me the impression that to him, this is starting to look like a scam, and these people got this. They got a little bit of a circle of friends and places they go to scam people. Maybe the same as with these people who have these panelists. They travel all over the place. They set up panels. One time it's in Texas, San Marcos, Texas. Next time it could be in Dallas, Texas. Next time it could be up in Arkansas. They travel around, and they're making money off of us. And maybe they do help us out a little bit. Then you find out if they do help it. You find out that, wait a minute, you got me to play at a place that I've already played at. That's my big show. I don't need you, man. I already played there. I could call those people. I got their numbers. What do I need you for? I already sold my music. And then if you find out that after they sucker you in and spending all this money on this big production, CD, I'm not knocking quality, guys. But when you guys spend more money than when you need to, and you're selling 2 CDs at $15 a pop, you made $30, and you spend $10,750 for this, plus an additional $5,000 for the artwork. You do the math. And after a while, your CD, little by little, because you're not a known artist, you're trying to get yourself established. Little by little, the CDs you did sell get put on. If let's say if you're lucky enough to sell them to a chain outlet or a Walmart or something like that, then if you go through the down the aisle, they got that big bin, DVDs and CDs, $3-4, and one of your CDs is in there, and you spent all this money, and you became irrelevant. It's a good experience to get the experience, but if you cannot afford it, stay away from it, man. Stay away from it, because it's going to be very, very painful. Very painful. Because last time he came down here with his friends, and this was a few years back. We were playing at a place called Chicago Boys. And that's what I'm still doing with RUI with Mike. We took a little bit of a break. And I think it was after the performance I was talking with him, and he still had a little bit of that bitterness because he got taken for a ride. He still had that, and I can't blame the guy. It's very hurtful. And anyone that goes through that, don't feel embarrassed because someone took advantage of your ignorance. I'm ignorant in a lot of things. That doesn't mean I'm an idiot or anything. It's just that I don't know everything. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm simply not. I say the things based on my experiences. That's why I know what I know. So he, I could tell he was feeling bad about it. Now, when Deb went to talk after this panelists gave their spiel, we were able to go up to them and talk. And Deb, one of the guys she was talking with, remember, he pulled her aside. And she told me part of the conversation was, I told him what we do, and we've done all these weddings, we do the public performances, we've done the corporate gigs. When Deb said about the corporate gigs, he looked at her and he said, that's where the money's at. Because you're going to get guaranteed money. It does not mean you, as an artist, here's the reality. No matter what these people try to tell you, here's the reality. If you're writing your own music and you're putting yourself out there, and whether you're instrumentals, whether you sing, whether you play a kazoo, whatever, but you are out there putting yourself out there, you are an artist. You might not be a big superstar, but that's okay. Because maybe the dream is better than the reality. Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. And boy, if you get it, you will get it. And you're out in the street. Bankruptcy. So when Deb said that, he was like, looked at her and said, that's where the money's at, and it just verified everything we were doing. So what happened with this gig, to continue on, there was low attendance. It was a 3-day festival. Some people were buying a 3-day pass. There was supposed to be an area where if you park your RV and the camping and that, it wasn't much of anything. And I can't blame the guy. He was, if the guy had good intent, in my heart, I think he had good intentions to try to do something for all us musicians. It just was not promoted right. Maybe he ran out of money. When that happens, look out, man. But he went so big, I think he was in the Air Force. And, God bless him. Thank you for your service and everything. And I think it was something like 4 fighter jets because it could fly in formation. Do you know how much that cost? Just that? Helicopter ride. At the time, GM Motors still had Saturn cars. Brand new Saturn was out there as a giveaway. 8 stages with top-of-the-notch gear, because we walked to the stage we were supposed to play at, even though we drove in our little Dodge Neon all the way to San Marcos, Texas, with our crate half-stack in the back with our guitars and everything, and the cars riding like this all the way down to San Marcos. And I get there, and wow, I really didn't need it, but, I've dealt with sound people that if they don't like you, they try to mess with your sound right away. They want to screw you over. They're frustrated guitar players. They see you got something. They see you getting attention, and right away they want to put a whammy, they throw a monkey wrench in front of you. You know what I mean? Just to make you look bad. I got more stories about that one. One guy didn't like me because I stood my ground, but you know what? That's too bad. I knew what you were up to doing, dude. Don't lie to me. So, anyways, that was on a Saturday with the conference. After the conference, that's when we walked over to the area, and we noticed that now it's like getting high noon, between high noon and 1 o'clock, and the gates open at 11, and we're seeing, really low attendance. I mean, we're seeing more groundkeepers than we are seeing people, even at the gate. So, I didn't really think much of it, and the weather was beautiful. So, you can't blame the weather. We go back to our hotel room, happen to turn on the TV. Oh, it's Sci-Fi Channel. Okay, it was Sci-Fi Channel. Then we see advertised on the Sci-Fi Channel. World United Music Fest today and Sunday. Be there, be square. You're going to lose out. That's going to be a great event, blah, 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 you know? So he pays for that ad there. But when we were driving into where the grounds were, we didn't see any advertisement. And it was behind a huge outdoor shopping mall, and none of these people knew that there was an event back there unless they happened to look like, geez, what's going on back there? Now, don't you think a little bit of advertising and a public place would help? The guy that we bought the t-shirts, the guy that printed up the t-shirts, we went to the shop, and he told us, yeah, this guy, man, I need to get my money back. And so I told him that if you're not paying me, I'm keeping all these t-shirts, and I'm selling these t-shirts, and I'm keeping that profit for me, because I took the time out, designed the logo and everything. Was supposed to get paid for it? No pay. Because what happened was he got shut down. And how we found out about this, after we went there, we were told, in the grounds now, we were at the hotel earlier, like 10 o'clock, between 10 and 12. It was the big swinging, big spiel, the big speech, the big BS session. Sucker Fest. And then we went over to the grounds to check out our stage and everything. And walked around. And then we got wind that, yeah, come over to the embassy suite because we have a big jam session and in celebration of the Friday and Saturday, and then continue on Sunday. So we go there, and we're walking down the hall, looking at everything. It's be awesome. I don't remember if we played in the lobby or not. I know we played at that Riley's pub where we met that one lady that wanted $500 for me and could do nothing for me, and she's back on her bills and warrant out for arrest and everything because she had to take over her license. What a winner there, huh? The assistant producer is greeting us. Nice guy. And Deb and I are like, this is nice, beautiful. Embassy, beautiful hotel, man. Ooh, is it nice? Yeah, isn't it nice? Here's the producer. Yeah, the assistant producer. Yeah, is it nice, Nat? Yeah, we're gonna have to set up here and there. Oh, by the way, the event got canceled. So, wow, look at that. That's nice glass chandelier. Look at what happened? And Deb and I, we looked at each other. What? Yeah, it got canceled. He says that, and then here comes the band that flew down from Canada, walking down the hallway, 3-piece, nice guys. Ooh, they pissed off. We were getting ready to start our set, and all of a sudden, this guy's pulling the plug on us. 1, 2, 3. I'm plugged in. What's going on, man? Here's the sound guy shutting everybody down. He had 8 stages, so he's got enough hands to man each stage. Maybe you got a walkie-talkie. Hey, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. Well, what we found out was, I'm pretty sure it was the assistant producer who told us this. This guy goes to the main producer the guy that owns a sound company. That means he owns a sound company. He's down in Texas. He knows the festivals. Now, even though the weather's nice, there are times you will have low attendance. Not as low as that, but still you have low attendance. And you can't control how many people will come out. But what he did was, from what we were told, he goes up to the main producer, the owner of the sound company. He demands $10,000 cash right now, or I'm shutting everybody down. And I guess this was around just before 6 o'clock because this band was supposed to play 6 to 6:50 or something like that. I mean, there was a lot of bands, a lot of musicians, man, a lot. And so the producer says, I don't have it. Now, we were saying to ourselves and to each other, you know, this guy should have got all this in writing. If it's a verbal contract, that's the worst thing to do. Because you got nothing to stand, no documentation. If you have it in writing, you got documentation. And if you have it in writing, you hold your ground and you tell them, look, if it's this type of a situation, I hired you because you said you know the festivals, you're one of the top companies here, if not the top company, so you should know this, okay? We signed a contract, it's a 3-day fest, the payout is on Sunday. That's the payout. Or have it stipulated there. If you want to say there's a partial payment, there's a down payment, you know, and then here's the rest on Sunday after the event. Probably wasn't no contract drawn up or anything like that. So the producer, I guess, folded because the guy's unplugging everybody, and that's it. The next day, and I do have a video, I think it's still up on my other YouTube channel, where I'm standing on the stage and I'm not bashing anybody. I'm giving the guys credit for trying. I said, fortunately got canceled, and this was the stage we're supposed to play at. And I think maybe there was a little bit of rain on Friday or something, but I mean, it's not like nothing like we get down here. And when it rains down here, guess what? Rain or shine, you're still playing, Well, a lot of times now they'll let us wait for it out, which is nice. But just to let that happen, man, and that's it. It was so bad that the next day, this is how we were wound up at the jam session in Huntley, Texas. Because now we're invited, everyone come out, everyone who couldn't perform on Sunday, come on out. So before we went down there, it was just like the next town over or whatever. We went back to our hotel room, and I happened to turn the TV on, and here's the local news, and here's the mayor of San Marcos, Texas. She said, never again are we going to let someone outside try to plan a festival, and all the phone calls that the town hall got, the police, everyone's all mad. They're getting turned away. They're demanding their money back because they paid for a 3-day pass. Sometimes people show up late. And when the gates were locked, and this is what happened, I guess on the Saturday, when they locked everything up, they started unplugging everything. So, if it's going if it went from noon to 11 p.m. or even 10 p.m., because, that's how many bands there were. At 6 o'clock, in the 6 o'clock hour, that would be kind of your main, time when, people would want to come out. And to find out that the gate's locked, you can't get in, you already spend your money and you can't get in, you're going to be pretty pissed off. Be like the Walking Dead, they're on the fence, So obviously it caused a ruckus. Police had to go out there or whatnot. So the mayor says, never again, man. Never again. This should have never got to this point. This should have been more organized, and Now, our citizens, this is what's happening. That's why we're not going to let this happen again. So when we were at Huntley, Texas, the guy at the booth, we saw him there, and man, he was depressed. Man, he had his head in the bar like this, and he was just. And then one guy, we're taking turns jamming out, and some people are singing, "Oh, why did they get canceled?" They're putting it into their songs. I got the videotape. I should see if I put it up, but I don't want to embarrass anybody. Just edit it to our performance and that. But this is what happens when you don't get things in writing. And this would be more of the exception to the rule, where someone really was trying to do something nice, not take advantage of people, but just went about the wrong way. And this is where it's really difficult to tell these people apart. The only way you'll be able to tell good, honest people is that they're not going to. You could ask them a question, and they're not going to try to, get out of me, get out of my way. I don't want to hear it, They're going to have an answer. They're going to understand why you're asking questions. They want money from you, so obviously you have the right to ask the question because it's your money. And as soon as they get the money in their pocket, boom, they don't know you. Don't work that way. Don't work that way. Before we close off for this little session, we had another event downtown Chicago at the Field Museum. And it was on a Monday night. The tickets were $260 a pop, man. I'm like, holy crap. And everyone from all over the world were flying in to do this gig. And we were fortunate enough to be able to partake in this. And I can't remember exactly how we got that gig, if we were recommended through somebody, or it was an online agent, I can't remember. But they liked us, they liked what we were doing, and so they hired us to play. And Deb, she drew up the contract. Here it is, you sign, we sign, boom. Well, I'm doing my performance, and this guy's walking around. Here, this is how big this was. The lady that we were in contact with, one of the ladies we were in contact with, was an actress, and she played in either some movie or there was some movie with the actor James Woods. So this guy came from Hollywood, this producer, and he's used this as clout. And we're all excited, and it was nice. Not a whole lot of people came out to justify a $260 sale of a ticket, I'll tell you that. There's a red flag right there. I was done with my performance. I'm walking around. I see the head of security. I thought, I'm going to ask this guy a question. What's he going to do? Tell me, get out of here. Get lost. Right? Ask questions. Don't be afraid. So I asked him. I said, hey, sir, I just did a performance over in the other room there. I got a question for you. This area right here. How much does this cost to rent? He said, during the week, I think it was $10,500. That's just for the space. The stage, the tables, and the light. You got to do that. That's on you. Oh, okay, that's fair. We're right there in the middle. They got the skeleton of the T-Rex and all. Because it's the Field Museum. If you've ever been downtown Chicago, you know exactly what I'm talking about. To have a show on a Monday night, it was kind of bizarre. I thought it was bizarre. But we got the contract signed, the money was there, but we had to chase it. So, I'm packing up my gear. Maybe it was as I'm playing. I'm just getting ready to finish my last few songs I'm playing. And tells me this guy comes up, and he's the guy running the show, and he's looking around, and you win some, you lose some. And right away, Deb's telling me, we're not going to lose. She didn't say that to him, but she's thinking that. Because she, shared that with me. So, we're packing up, we're getting ready to go. I remember we had to use the service elevator. And we had the lady's number. Now, obviously, she probably had one of those phones that you buy and you throw away because, her star status. I can't remember the lady's name. I don't think I've ever seen her before. But, obviously, she played in a movie with James Woods and she'd done a few things. Okay, that's fine. give you that respect. We were in a service elevator, and they also had another band there. And the band members, now they're in the service elevator. We're all bringing. It was a huge service elevator. We're bringing our gear back, to the parking garage to load up and go home. And we're listening to these guys talk, and boy, they're giving us the impression that I don't think we're gonna get paid, man. I don't think we're gonna get paid. And Deb and I were looking at each other. I kept my mouth shut. So, on our way home, now, we're talking, and Deb says, I bet you these guys, they're not getting paid. She says, we're going to make sure we get paid. They signed that contract. So, the hotel that is right across from the House of Blues downtown Chicago on Dearborn Street, that's where this guy was staying. And I guess the girl was there too, that we had to know. So Deb's calling. Now this girl's giving us a runaround, And it's kind of pissing us off. Because we held to our end of the deal. If you're supposed to be so hotshot, how come you can't hold to your end of the deal? It wasn't much we got paid. It was, I think, below $500. If you got all this money and you're supposed to be a big shot, you mean you can't take care of us? Maybe you paid that big money for those people that flew in from Iraq and Turkey and France. I understand. But you signed a contract with us. So Deb calls, and obviously this lady's getting a little bit agitated because, she's giving us a present. She wants to avoid us. So we get wind of the hotel. We call the desk. I think it was, Deb calls the service desk. She's got the guy's name. Oh, he's in room so-and-so. Wake his ass up. And I guess I don't remember exactly what was said because Deb did the phone call. Obviously, she got in touch with him, and I guess he agreed to write out a check for us. So right away, the next day, we drove from Aurora, Illinois, right down downtown Chicago. Hurry up, let's go. We double park. Deb goes to the service desk. Get this guy down here, give us a check, and we'll just, call it a day. Park friends, right? We're park friends. So, I guess the service, the check got, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think this is how this happened. He brings the check down to the desk, but it's in my name, because I was the performer. He didn't put in our company name. I think our company name at the time was Transacoustic Productions. It's in my personal name now. Dad goes to a service desk. And the lady at the service desk obviously needs to see an ID, driver's license. The check's in my husband's name. Well, I need his. So Deb had it come out. We're double parked. And if you know downtown Chicago, as soon as you pull up and as soon as you open up the door, here comes a traffic cop out of nowhere. Holy crap, where'd you come from? That little tiny like golf cart type of car. The ticket's already written up. Wait a minute, man. We were taking care of business. And it wasn't really that busy that time of day, if I remember correctly. But it's always hectic downtown. So I had to go in, show my driver's license, get the check. We get the check. Hurry, hightail it back to Aurora, Illinois. Went to the bank where the check was written out. The teller says, you don't have an account? No. Well, we gotta charge you a fee. Deb says, I don't care. I'm gonna cash this before this check bounces. Get their money, and that's it, man. Just because someone says, and even if they are, you do have the right to protect yourself. I'm saying these things because this is what we went through, and then seeing this video that Bad Brad was talking about and how these people will lead you is another thing that these people do, and this is another thing that he said. I guess one was a young girl that was very talented, and Brad said, talk to the parents here, tell her to finish her, get an education, get a job, and that was not what the parents were expecting. The mom was not expecting that. I guess the mom says, well, you know, because you were a session player. Well, my daughter, she's good. Maybe she could be a session player too, and she's good. Maybe she reads notes real good. I mean, I could read music, but not real fast. And maybe she can read chord charts real fast, and she's got technique, and she's got a good personality. And Brad says, well, there's no women. And the heart of the session world, I guess in Nashville, there's no women. Okay, here's something to think about for any parents out there with a daughter that wants to get involved. You take his advice about getting an education and getting a good job, back it up with money. But here's something to think about. You get these ladies, and Brad even said, you know, there's a lot of really good female guitarists now. It's not like back in the day. There was always good female classical guitarists. That's a different world, though. But now more and more and more we're seeing female girls who are incredibly talented. Your gender does not dictate your intellectual status and your ability. Always remember that. So if there are any parents out there that's got a daughter and you want to give them that, and let's say you want to do session work in Nashville. I've never done it, Brad has, but here's something to think about. These guys that say this, and let's say they're sticking together, that's fine, you can stick together all you want, but if you're the top dog, you're the top session player, and you started in 1984 and you were 22 years old, that's 40 years ago. You're in your 60s. Maybe you got arthritis. And if you were the younger one of, let's say, the Fab Four session recording players, you're the younger one, then how old are your friends? And it's a different world we live in. These people are getting older. They're going to be dying off. So when you want to get your daughter involved in something, girls will stick together. And with the way recording is now, with Pro Tools and that, you don't need the session. You don't need those studios like you once did. So they're going to want to go like this and oust you if that's the case. So just remember one thing. Where you're going to have the upper hand is, girls will stick together, and once they find out that there's anything like, oh, you just because I'm a girl, you think I'm no good? Okay, I'll show you. Then these girls open up their own studio with the Pro Tools, and I'm telling you right now, this young generation, they know all this technology. So they already got us beat. So they open up shop, and little by little, they put the old guys out of business. And the old guys who are acting like that have it coming to them because they shouldn't act like that. You give someone who has the credentials and who has the ability, you give them that fair shot. They are going to be if you started that recording studio and you want to have any type of legacy, and you want that recording studio to continue to thrive long after you're gone, and you oust the female, you're going to hang yourself, man. Because that female could open up shop across the street and put you out of business, and you will be done, gone, and forgotten about. Just something to think about. So, in closing, guys, yeah, check out his channel. And remember, don't get suckered. Don't get suckered by anybody. If you need to keep your side business, your day job, whatever, you do that. Because you know what? There is freedom and control. Because you know what? Only a fool is screw themselves over financially. Only a fool is going to do that. Now, again, there's good people out there, but you'll be able to spot the bad people after a while. One of the first things, like I said, ask them questions. If they get irritated because you're asking questions, but it's your money, that's a red flag right there. All right, guys, and once again, remember, there is freedom and control of you controlling your destination. So, all right, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. We will be going live this Sunday from 2 to 4. Until then, you have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. Take care, guys. Rock on and God bless. Thanks for watching.